Alright, what's good YouTube? This is BJ here. Shout out to Mr. Computer Answers for the Premiere voiceover tutorial. Alright, now today this is a video on an installation of the tein silencer rubber, and I got this really to try to figure out how to get rid of this coilover knock sound. There's not a lot of research on the net on it. People really just think that the main concerns are either a loose strut nut, a worn out bearing in the pillow ball camber plate, or just a bad spring or a bad coil itself. So pretty much what I'm doing is just removing the tire and installing the tein rubber silencer. And what you want to do here is pretty much grease up the rubber silencer. You can see here that there's a lot of corrosion underneath the camber plate. So what I did was, thoroughly spray it, clean it. There's a lot of debris and rust under here because you got to remember that this is still outside the car and subject to the elements. Here I'm shaking it to see where the sound is coming from, and there's no sound yet. I have my grease gun and my lube, and you'll be able to hear it in a second. This is all still tightened down, and I'm just checking for the sound now. Still. Now the sound is coming from, oh, here it goes. It's not coming from the bottom. It's coming from the top of the spring where it meets the perch. The perch is that silver, like flat ninja star looking kind of thing. There it is. You can hear it real nice there. Now all this is it's basically a little bit of play that develops over a while of having the coilovers, hitting potholes, and you're driving in the street, so honestly they're not really for the street, but what can you do? So here I'm just greasing everything down, and here's a little close up of my lube. And what you have to do is make sure you clean the debris. Tein on their website specifies that you do some maintenance periodically by getting rid of the debris, making sure everything is tightened back down, keeping everything lubricated. Can't stress this enough. That on top of the fact of just the elements, they wear on everything. So here, as I'm getting all the grease inside of the rubber silencer to make sure that it slips onto the spring easily, you want to make sure you put the rubber silencer in between where there's metal and metal contact. And you just examine it and see what's rubbing and kind of move it around to see where the sound, to try and hear where the sound is coming from. And you don't get to see it here because this is a two-hand job basically where I'm trying to slip the rubber piece on. But in between this part here, I loosen up the top strut nut, and basically I use an impact gun, which Tein specifies that an impact gun should be your last resort. But what you have to do if you're going to use an impact gun is hold on to the spring perch, underneath the wheel well with one of the adjustment wrenches that came with your set of coilovers. And as you're holding on to it, tap the impact gun once or twice. Don't hold it, because if you spin the whole perch, that's how you can break it. Now, once you have this whole thing out and loose, basically take that time to grease the pillow ball mount. Make sure you just grease in there. You can see it's nice and greased, to make sure that the spherical bearing in there isn't a noisy issue. So now I have both rubber silencers on. Sorry for the bad camera work, but I'm trying to do this with one hand. Shaking it out, it's obviously still loose because I didn't tighten it back down. But you can see here that the rubber is in between the spring perch, and that should really cure the problem. Alright, hit me up with any questions and comments. iHeartCZ4A.wordpress.com. Thanks a lot. Peace.